Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Teesha, and today's video I'm really excited to do. So we're gonna do another edition of what's their favorite candle, and today's version is my favorite movie of all time, The Princess Bride. So I've been kind of working on this one for a long time because I don't have a lot of candles that speak to me from, like, I don't know when this was set in time, but you know, the old days, but like 1500, 1600, somewhere, an olden tale, if you know what I'm saying. So I really decided I took my time with this one. That's why it's coming to you a lot later than I thought, but I dove into each of the characters' characteristics, and from there I chose a candle from my collection. That's always a disclaimer that I make. I only can use what I have on hand. But this one is also a big thank you to our friend here, Jenny M. She kind of confirmed. I was working on a couple and she's like, you should do the Princess Bride. And I was like, I'm working on the Princess Bride. So thank you, Jenny M, for your suggestion. As always, if you like this series, let me know down below and give me some ideas. It's a really fun way to go through my collection and kind of work on describing the scents better. So that's what I hope to do for you today. So again, these candles all come from my collection. So there may be different companies out there that might even cater to this. I've not looked it up, but I even thought if I had more time and I was more creative and I had one of those crickets, I could make a new label with like something they say from the movie, but I didn't do that. I'm just going to describe the character and why the candle popped into my head that I chose for them. So like I said, this is not only mine, but Aaron's favorite movie. We've watched it 100 million times. It's such a good one. It's something that lots and lots of people know. It's a Rob Reiner film, The Princess Bride, and it has a lot of characters. So we're going to jump in. I also wanted to show you, just because it's, my first one with props. This is a book that Aaron bought me a few years ago for Christmas. One of the first birthday gifts he ever gave me was a smaller version of this book. And it was just such a meaningful gift. I have, a few things, like, if you ever heard that, like, expression, what would you grab if, house fire? It would definitely be like this book, some pictures of my baby when he was little that I don't have in ways to duplicate, but like this is a very meaningful gift. And it's so cool because it has on the inside like pictures, like it talks about the channel of Gilder and Florin and ROUS's and the fire swamp. So that's kind of cool too. But we've read this together. He'd probably be really embarrassed for me to tell you that, but I had to show off this book too because, again, one of my favorite movies ever. And like I said, the book's really good as well. So he's also bought me some funny shirts, like anybody want a peanut with fesik on the front. But I decided I'm getting ready for work and I really wanted to film this video because I was going to do it this weekend, but like I had some friends show up and I just decided to like give my face a break. So let's jump into the characters. So I hope this is something that's very familiar to you guys. I know this was like the longest intro ever, but we're gonna jump right in. And so I'm gonna insert a picture of each character as I go. So we're gonna start with our favorite couple. So let's start with Princess Buttercup, and she was played by Robin Wright. And, she falls in love with the farm boy, and then he goes off to, try to earn more money and make a better name for himself, so he deserves her. And she gets word that he has died, and so then she doesn't care anymore, and that's how she ends up with the evil Prince Humperdinck. But we'll get into that as we go. So for Princess Buttercup, played by Robin Wright, she was very bold for a woman of that time. She was very passionate, and she was just uncommonly beautiful, the most beautiful woman in the land. So I picked one of my favorite, most bold candles and very pretty. It's the 1,000 Wishes. And it just really made sense to me to give her a candle talking about 1,000 wishes, because most of the movie she's wishing for her sweet Wesley to come back to her. Let's talk about the notes. It's sparkling champagne, crystal peony, almond creme with essential oils. And this candle is probably one of the most beautiful in my collection as well. Yeah, and it just is so feminine and beautiful, and it's very it does a very good job burning, which I heard mixed reviews on. So I'm really happy to have this in my collection, and this is the candle that would be my pick for Princess Buttercup. I have a lot here, so we better keep moving. Then let's go to Wesley. He was played by Carrie. I'm not very good with names, you guys. I have seen this movie 100 times. I think his name's Carrie Elves. This guy here. So he's one of my favorite characters of this movie. I might say that a lot because this truly is my favorite movie, but he is described as smart, motivated, motivated entirely by love. He's determined. So I actually had 2 candles in mind, with the fact that he is so, everything he does is motivated by his love for Princess Buttercup. I gave him B mine. This is Candy Heart, so it wouldn't really necessarily be a masculine smelling candle, but it's cotton candy sugar, sparkling raspberry, and a sprinkle of love from Cupid. And I definitely think we had to talk about love when we're talking about this couple, because again, of all the kisses, this is one of the top 5 kisses, it says at the end of the movie. So he gets the Be Mine candle because again, he was probably my first crush because I love this movie when I was like a little kid. However, if we were going to talk about a more masculine scent, I would definitely go with Frozen Lake. He does spend a lot of time on the waters as the Dread Pirate Roberts, and this candle smells very much like a delicious man's cologne. So even though I'm sure there wasn't like a bath game that was strong back in the day, I still feel like for some reason he would smell good. And so I gave him Frozen Lake. And then another couple of characters that, start out our story would be the grandpa and the grandson. So let's talk about grandpa. Grandpa was wise, patient. He knew better for the little grandson. He was really patient with him as he was kind of griping about the book, and it was a kissing book. And so, I definitely wanted to give him like sweater weather, and I don't have a sweater weather because, he comes in the beginning with his book in the sweater weather. And so I decided to give Grandpa flannel, and he was played by Peter Falk, who was just an awesome actor all throughout his life. And this one does not so necessarily like Frozen Lake. It has more of a sophisticated men's scent. So it smells like there's a cologne or a clean scent or like a body wash type of scent in here mixed with outside. Men of that time were definitely outdoors men. So I feel like, flannel would have worked really well for him. But again, this is just cozy. And again, to me, it felt really like a candle that you would say would be Grandpa's favorite candle. So that is my choice for Grandpa. Now let's talk about the grandson. Grandson was played by Fred Savage, who we all love from the Wonder Years. He starts out the movie and it's so cute because I remember like the game he was playing was like a really fun game. I think it was probably not Nintendo, it was probably Atari, but I tried to find something really unique. So I think I did an okay job. I actually picked 2 for Fred Savage for the grandson. So I wanted something unique. So I picked, and again, like to describe the grandson, he was kind of snarky. He's just that young, like he's, sitting there waiting to, hate on the story, and then he ends up loving the story. So I gave him pumpkin pecan waffles. This candle to me is kind of snarky. It's very delicious, but it's very in your face, like little kids can be sometimes. Believe me, I know, I work with them. Maple syrup, golden waffles, pumpkin spice, and brown sugar. However, my first choice, the candle I thought of very first when I was thinking of doing this video, so I have to include it as well. This is the candle for the grandson. Cereal and cartoons, because I was an 80s baby, and that was like everything we did outside of school. Play outside, cereal and cartoons on Saturday. So the notes on this are toasted cinnamon, crunchy cereal, ice cold milk, and sugar crystals. So yeah, this would for sure beat out all candles for my choice for the favorite for the grandson. And we're gonna keep rolling. So let's talk about my next 3 characters that kind of go together. Fesik, Enio, Montoya, and then Vassini. So they are the 3 captors when the prince hires them to start a war. So let's start with Enio Montoya. I don't know if it's Inigo Montoya. I think I'm saying that wrong. He was played by Mandy Patinkin, and I loved him in so many TV shows. He did a lot of doctor series, I feel like, or maybe some of those like CSI series. I don't know. I did love him on TV as well. And his character is so brave, and he's, he spends his whole life, or the whole life of his movie, seeking revenge for the 6-fingered man that killed his father when he was a young boy. So with that being said, I decided to go with a couple of candles. So this one I picked Midnight Blue Citrus because he does spend a lot of his time on the water. Like I said, that scene at night where they're traveling through that channel. This was the first candle that popped into my mind. And it kind of does smell earthy to me. So juicy tangerine, airy beach grass, orange blossom, amber. if they did get to bathe, which I don't know why I'm bringing that up as such a big part of this video, I feel like this could be a little bit of like what kind of earthy soap would smell like. So I chose Midnight Blue Citrus for Inigo Montoya, but also because he was a man's man, right? He was the best sword fighter, and he was so determined to find Wesley because he knew that that would probably like get revenge for his father. So we're going to give him mahogany teakwood because this candle is not messing around. And it is the strongest man's candle. And so since he, you know, is the strongest man in terms of character, not actually in terms of physical strength, he shares this candle with Fesik as well. So I decided that some people can pick the same favorite. But yeah, this one is really good. Just kind of like your real man's man. Like some of these other ones are like a hint of, this one is your man's man candle. So let's talk about Fesik. So he was played by Andre the Giant. He's got some of the best lines in this movie. Like when he's doing the rhyming on the boat and Vassini's like, no more rhymes, I mean it. My favorite line to say to people all the time is, anybody want a peanut? Because he kept rhyming. And he just played the character. He was timid, he was kind-hearted, he had the most brute strength, but I feel like he was the most gentle of all the characters. So when I think of that word, I think of cozy. So of course, I gave him cozy cashmere, you know, mixed with a little mahogany teakwood. If this was a candle together, that would be my candle for Fesik or Andre the Giant. The notes are smooth lavender, warm vanilla, pink jasmine, comforting sandalwood. And although this does have more of like a ladies perfume scent to me, it's very cozy, like a cozy sweater, like a cozy blanket. Like I would love to burn this candle in my bedroom because it is a place where I'm obviously trying to get as cozy and comfortable after a long day. And his character just really described that for me. But of course, because he was the strongest man in all of the land, he also gets to share mahogany teakwood. So those are my choices for Fesik. And Vassini was hard. He was played by Wallace Shawn. And his character was kind of smug, ruthless, although he didn't really do anything. He thought he was smart, but he was actually pretty not smart. He thought he was really, you know, evil and conniving, but he was kind of easily duped. So I'm giving him, even though it's one of my favorite scents ever, champagne toast. Because my favorite scene with him is when he is battling with Wesley. Wesley's already beat Inigo Montoya with the sword fighting, and he's already put the giant to sleep so he can try to save the princess. So he comes upon the princess and Vassini sitting on a couple of rocks, and they decide to have a battle of wits and or a battle of minds where Wesley puts a poison iocane powder in the drinks, and they have a toast, and he's too smart to be fooled, but he was fooled. Spoiler alert, you've had like 25, 30 years to watch this movie. So champagne toast is what I decided to assign to Vassini. It's not really ruthless. I've had different burns where I thought it was going to be strong, it was going to be weak. That was kind of my connection. The notes are bubbly champagne, sparkling berries, and juicy tangerine. And it's a really delicious candle, given to not such a great character. But I thought that was still a nice thing for me to do. A couple more characters. We must talk about Prince Humperdinck, and then Count Rugen, or Count, what was his name? It was Tyrone. Tyrone. He was the six-fingered man who killed Inigo Montoya's father. And so at the end, he gets his revenge, but he was kind of an evil dude. He had come up with that life-sucking machine that they had in the forest. So, you know, he loves torture and evil acts. So I had to give him something that kind of just reminded me of like haunted or evil. So I went with kind of a probably easy one, but I gave him Haunted Nights. If he was a candle, or if this was a favorite candle, this was probably the one he had. And plus, these packaging style was probably the oldest looking thing, like that old Victorian style wallpaper. So I wanted to include a couple of these, obviously, just because the time period set back so far. The notes are scary, clary, sage, moonlit mahogany, and vanishing verbena. This is very much like mahogany teakwood, but this is a cute, kinder, nice packaging for the good guys, and this one's the dark, evil, mysterious packaging for the bad guys. Next, we're going to talk about Prince Humperdinck. Get him out of the way. Oh, Count Tyrone was played by Christopher Guest, so that was who the evil six-finger man was. Prince Humperdinck was played by Chris Sarandon, and you know, he was undeserving, he was dishonest, he was just trying to plot and plan. He was a spoiled brat, right? He was a prince and he thought he could do no wrong. And so, you know, not necessarily scary, I kind of thought of him as more wicked. So I gave him Wicked Apple, again with this packaging of this like old Victorian style wallpaper. The notes are ghostly green apple, creepy caramel drizzle, vicious vanilla bean. And he was creepy and vicious, so even though I love this scent, it described him well. So that's his favorite candle. Two more characters, just because, again, I say this a lot, favorite. Really love the scene with Miracle Max and his wife, Valerie. I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. And I've been posting pictures, I hope, of each character just to give it a little bit more something something. But for Miracle Max, again, he was unsure of himself. He was fired by the prince, but he was magical. And so I wanted to go with something really, to me, was like a magical scent of this year. Like, so I didn't want to give him something that didn't make any sense. So I really searched through, again, I don't have a lot of aromatherapy, which they worked with a lot of oils and things. So I went with, for Miracle Max, I'm giving him iced dragon fruit tea. Maybe they drink iced dragon fruit tea, but like made of real dragons. I don't know, that'd be pretty gross. But the notes on this are tropical dragon fruit, vibrant green tea, lemonade, and sweet coconut milk. But maybe they did eat dragon fruits back then. I'm not really sure. I was just trying to make it a little bit weird because they were a little bit of a weird couple. This is my favorite candle of the fall by far. I have backed this up. And like I said, he was one of my favorite characters because he had a lot of great lines. Like, he's only mostly dead. I don't know. I really love Billy Crystal. He played Miracle Max. And then Valerie, his wife, where she comes out, liar, and I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. So she was played by Teesha Keen, who was just awesome in the 80s. She also played one of my other favorite characters in Scrooged. And so I gave her Lavender Bergamot, another candle that I had that I thought, you know, if they were mixing aromatherapy and florals and stuff together to make their potions, maybe they had some lavender bergamot type of thing. And so this is bright lavender, bold bergamot zest, warm tonka bean with natural essential oils. And it does smell very herbal and floral and aromatherapy, which is, like I said, what they were working with in their workshop. So they definitely probably had something that smelled like this. So that would be her favorite candle. And I actually went through that quite quickly. Like I said, this is just our favorite movie. So I hope I did it justice. I would have loved to had some candles that made more sense to be like in that time period, but I feel like I still did a pretty good job. But you have to let me know down in the comments below. And again, if you can think of another movie or show that you would like to see what the characters' favorite candles are, I would be happy to work on that for you guys. But until then, take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you soon. And as you wish, I'm going to close out this video. Thanks, guys. Bye.